Yo guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing an updated Valby build guide. We will cover her Ice Maiden build, a general skill-based Colossus build, and finally a build for Purge. A quick warning, I suggest to listen as I go over the mods. I will be making many suggestions for different situations. Valby is probably the most versatile Descendant in the game, specifically when it comes to her skill bossing builds. As far as my thoughts on her, although I was hoping to see more range added to her skills for mobbing, or possibly some type of spread effect, she does fine, but can't compete with the top tier mobbers, and the minor changes they did to increase her damage didn't change much. When it comes to her skill bossing kit, she is still top tier, only second to Serena in my opinion, and the buff to her firearm attack with supply moisture is an added bonus to her firearm bossing build, but we will not be covering that build here. I will link a video to a firearm bossing build from Tormentor for those interested. I do expect to see her do really well in Wall Crasher, especially since he doesn't look like he will be very mobile, and her Bubble Bullet spam build excels against large, slow-moving targets. As always, we are live on Twitch daily, putting together builds and farming with the community. Would love to see all of you stop by. The link is in the description, but enough of yapping, let's get into it. First, we're going to go over her Ice Maiden build that I used at the start of the video for the showcase. I chose to go with the Bubble Bullet build over the using her fourth with her unique weapon. I found this very consistent. It's very nice also with the way they changed the spawn, where you can get out in front of the boss pretty well before she is unimmune. So the main key here is to get over to this diamond and drop your 3 bubble bullets to stack your component set and start, of course, stacking your bubble bullets. Then pull out your rocket after the third bubble bullet, shoot at the boss, switch back to blue beetle, and just point down, jump, and cast bubble bullet over and over. Eventually she will teleport to you, and basically at that point she's gonna drop dead. You just keep spamming your bubble bullets. Even if something does go wrong here, you can still get the kill pretty consistently. So with that out of the way, let's get into the mods. This is a supply moisture build. We're going full crit here, so we're using skill concentration, skill insight, and front lines. We're getting the rest of our crit from blue beetle and from our Arche tuning. Then we're using our 2 focus mods with MP conversion and nimble fingers, so we can maximize the spam of our bubble bullet, and we'll be doing some more things with that to help with the cooldown along the way. We are running skill expansion with iron defense and then hyper focus. Important thing is to make sure you do not hit the boss with those initial 3 bubble bullets, because you will proc the wrong thing on hyper focus. You will in turn proc the firearm critical hit damage when you want the skill critical hit damage. So avoid hitting the boss with those bubble bullets until the relic hits the boss, and then after that you're free to go. Now for our reactor, we are running cooldown with Colossus. Make sure you have your blue beetle mounted, non-attribute fusion here. And then for our set, we are letting the enlightened mage set. We have HP cores in all of our pieces, and of course make sure you have your MP recovery stats on all of your pieces as well. Now for our Arche tuning, we will not be using any mutant cells here. We will mostly be making sure that we come for that cooldown, our crit damage, and our skill critical hit rate. And then of course we're going to grab our Colossus damage over here. Yep, no mutant cell. Nothing here really benefits. There is one that benefits using her 4th ability, but we are not using that. Now, as far as your inversion reinforcement, you're going to want to make sure you have your fire focus rounds. This is, of course, for the relic. It does help a lot with breaking those weak points at the start. Most runs I was getting 2 broken, sometimes 3. With Arche circulation tactic, this is great for when the boss finally comes over into your water puddles. This procs, your cooldown goes crazy. And then selective neurostimulation is great for some MP gain as you're going through the fight. Now, for our weapons, we are using Restored Relic here to break the weak points and get the skill power buff. That's really all this is. Not much different from a normal setup you would see when I'm using this on Serena. I have only put in Expand Weapon Charge. The extra shots are nice to helping get all the weak point breaks. And then we have our Blue Beetle, which you do not have to build. I would suggest maybe just throw some sprint speed cores in here so you can get over to the boss quicker. Now we will cover a classic Valby bossing build. And this is going to be her non-crit full cooldown build. This is a classic. Been running this for a very, very long time on this game. It's still very consistent. One of the best bossing skill builds in the game. We will not be using a red mod because this is a non-crit build. We will be using 2 focus mods with MP conversion and nimble fingers. Then we have our 2 amplification mods with fusion and non-attribute. We are then running skill extension and skill expansion for our range and duration, and then MP accelerant for more duration, and then dangerous ambush. One slight note here, if we ever do come into a situation in the game where we're going to use this build, but the boss is going to take a while to kill, a good add-on here would be dropping Dangerous Ambush or something like Energy Collection for the extra MP recovery, so we can continue spamming Bubble Bullet as much as possible. Now, for our reactor, we are using, once again, cooldown with Colossus, but now we have our hand cannon mounted because we are using Peacemaker. We're using the same set, Enlightened Mage. Make sure you have your HP cores and, of course, your MP stats for MP recovery. Now, let's get into our Arche tuning. We are going with defense neutralization here. Although we're not getting a non-attribute resistance debuff, we are getting a defensive debuff. So we will definitely take that. We are making sure we grab our cooldown node. And then, as you can see here, I'm left with 4 skill points to use. There's a few things you can do here. If you would like more MP recovery, you can go with something like that. If you feel like you do need to add more range, because we are not capped on range here, you can also do something like that. Once again, Valby is just so flexible, so many different things that she can do. Now, for your inversion reinforcement, we are going to go once again with Arche Circulation Tactic for the spam of our 1. Great cooldown buff here, and then select the Nora Stimulation for some MP economy. And then you could still go with a focus rounds here, even though most of the bosses you'll be using this on the game right now don't even require you to shoot. This is still a great debuff to be putting on the enemy. So just be aware of that when we do have bosses that we will need this against. Now, for our weapons, this build is going to be utilizing Peacemaker for its unique ability, which is going to grant us non-attribute skill power with all of the stacks. Very great weapon for Valby in all situations. And we're going with triple sprint speed cores for the movement speed. And a build does not really matter here. I do not have this built at all. And then I do always carry my Python here for a harder boss that we might need to take down. The main reason is going to be its unique ability. On hitting weak point, inflicts a unique ability prey on the target enemy. And this is going to give non-attribute resistance -2 per stack. And then it does stack 28 times. So this is a very, very great weapon for Valby on a harder enemy. And now let's go over our Purge build. We are going to be using Peacemaker here, not Blue Beetle. I have tried both ways out, and Peacemaker is definitely the better damaging setup here. We're going to be using Supply Moisture with our 4 crit mods, our 2 focus mods with MP conversion and nimble fingers, skill expansion for range, and then Decimator. Now, for our reactor, we're using cooldown with critical hit damage. We have our hand cannon mounted. We also have our handgun mounted as well. Still a great option when killing the boss in any purge stage. Even though her bubble bullet does also melt the boss, nothing's better than Last Dagger. And then for our set, we are using the Hunter set. Although we are not using a damage set here, we are loving the cooldown we are getting. And then we are also loving the MP we are receiving with this. You will almost never run out of MP. Very great choice. I did try Blue Beetle with using MP Collector and then a damaging set, and I just love this lineup way, way better. Now, for our Arche tuning, we are using a Mutant Cell. We're going with non-attribute cohesion here. We're making sure we get our cooldown node, our crit nodes, and we're going to pick up some skill cost down here with range. And then I like to grab a little bit of health so we are not too squishy. We are sitting at 8,600 health, which is still pretty low. You have to be pretty quick, nimble in Purge with this setup. But if you're in public use, arenas or blasting, you're kind of just a utility player at that point. Now we have our Peacemaker, and no build here is really necessary. You do want your triple sprint speed cores, and the only thing that I could suggest is going with this setup for your 4th ability. Something else you can also be spamming in Purge along with your bubble bullet. Big AoE on it, does a lot of damage, clears rooms very, very well. Then we have our Last Dagger with our chill setup, our double fire rate cores, the usual here, and we're going to use our Greg loadout with Firing Fiesta, Overwhelm, and our 2 chill mods, our 2 weak point mods, our 2 critical hit damage mods, fire rate up, and with action and reaction. And then I always carry my Restored Relic, triple fire rate, double chill attack. Same setup you'll see normally in Purge. With just about any Descendant, this works. And then for her inversion reinforcement, we're going to go with our chill focus rounds, our Nora focus augmentation, and then selective Nora stimulation. And that covers everything for this updated Valby build guide. Any questions or suggestions about the builds, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe is appreciated. Be sure to be on the lookout. We have many updated Descendant build guides coming this month on the road to Season 3. Thanks, guys. Peace.